What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another Fridge Financials video. And in today's video, we talk a potential ban of Congress members from stock trading. So hopefully you're intrigued by this video. In today's video, we're going to look at some data, we're going to look at some Congress members, and talk about what it could possibly mean and the history behind it, and kind of go from there. So if you're excited for today's video, feel free to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so, and turn on the bell notifications for all future uploads. So, here we go. A bipartisan group of senators unveiled a new proposal that would ban members of Congress, their spouses, and dependent children from trading individual stocks. Now, if you're from the US, you probably heard about this, and if you haven't, I want to educate you a little bit about how it works. If you're not from the US, I'll tell you the same thing. Over these years, it hasn't been like the last couple months, it's been like a long period of time, like years and years and years in the making here. People have accused, and, you know, I mean, it's pretty valid, some of these are, right, of the Congress members who are in political power, who have these high authorities, who have access to all the information going on with all these big companies. They have been trading with insider information before it goes public. You know, that's basically what insider trading is. If you have information and you trade based off of that before it goes public, you benefit from knowledge that not everybody has access to, so you can make a crap ton of money from it. Fun fact, there was a guy recently who got arrested, I believe, for insider trading over Xbox party chat. So, interesting enough. But so the Congress members and lawmakers over the years have been accused by many, many people and individuals that you're trading stocks with information that we don't have access to, or that we might not have access to until a much later date. And in that time period, people make a lot of money from it, and then they go from there. So, but again, we, as in the public, don't have public knowledge or don't have access to it as much as the lawmakers do, who are in talks with big corporations, other countries, so on, so on, and so forth. So here are all the Democratic senators that are taking part of it, and they're dubbing it the Ethics Act. The Ethics Act stands for Ending Trading and Holdings in Congressional Stocks. What a great acronym. I think it's great. One of the senators says this major quote here, which I think is one of the best quotes ever. If you want to serve in Congress, don't come here to serve your portfolio. Come here to serve the people. Couldn't say it better myself. Usually people get into Congress, you would hope that the people that you're electing to go to Congress to be the one to help with laws and changes and everything else to help better your country, you want them to be doing it for the right reasons, not the wrong ones, which is what he's saying here. Don't come here to boost your portfolio. Come here to boost America. Come here to help the country as a whole and to help the people, not your pockets, right? So we talk about, again, a little bit of the history behind it. So there are laws and things that are intact as of today, recently, that are put into effect for Congress trading and everything else. So the current law requires lawmakers to disclose when they trade individual stocks, but critics say that it is unevenly enforced and insufficient. The STOCK, which stands for Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act, again, great acronym, enacted in 2012, directs members of Congress and their spouses to disclose any trades for transactions over $1,000 within 45 days. First thing I want to make a note of is I can't believe out of all this time of trading in the stock market world, it's only been until 2012 that we want to put these restrictions on Congress members. 2012. I mean, that's 4 years after the Great Recession. I'm sure some Congress members made a crap ton of money from that with the housing market crisis and everything like that, because they have, again, access to that knowledge. They have access to that information from higher ups that we don't have access to right away. You know, so the fact that it took till 2012 to even start to put any kind of restrictions is actually kind of shocking to me. But I'm glad, like I said in my other videos, better late than never, I guess, for these kind of things. But transactions over $1,000 within 45 days. And you're probably wondering yourself, Fridge, why did they say 45 days? Why not right away? Why not immediately to make it where everybody has fair game? And here's what my understanding is. One of the most famous people in Congress that has been accused of it multiple times, we'll get into that a little bit more later on in some detail, is Nancy Pelosi. Right here, Nancy Pelosi. If you're in the U.S., you've probably hopefully heard of her name at least at one point in your life. Recently stepped down there was a burglary at her house, which was crazy, or attempted burglary at her house, like at some point. one of those famous people that have been talked about in Congress about trading and everything else. And so this is really cool because this website tracks all of her information. Once she makes it public, it's put into here, looks like, and they are able to show you what she bought and what it was and how much it was and everything else. There's two I want to bring up here. First one is Palo Alto Networks. So this is a cybersecurity company here, and she bought options. Options, again, is basically leveraging with owning 100 shares of a company without actually buying 100 shares of a company per se. So she bought a bunch of money here, $500 to $1,000, $500,000 to $1 million, and $100,000 to $250,000. Now these were within the same 2 weeks in February, and she bought this first one February 12th, bought another one February 21st, then disclosed it 2 days later for both of these. So you're looking at probably at least $1 million, probably I would guess, investment here in Palo Alto Networks. And this is where I'm guessing the 45 days comes into play, because this was recently announced right after she bought them. This is actually within 45 days, which is crazy. But take a look at Palo Alto Networks on the 23rd and the 26th. Up 5.33%, up 7.33%, up 3.95%. So in these 3 days here, you're up over 15% in these 3 days right here after Nancy Pelosi has disclosed it, which is interesting. And it's very similar to Roaring Kitty in a way, where you're talking about stock manipulation, because once that news got out, the public was like, Nancy knows something. She knows something that we don't know. Buy. And look at all the buying here that happened. You're looking at the volume here is 21 million again, the highest volumes here. This one I think was earnings, and they crashed a lot. So I think she bought some more on a dip right here. But look at the average volume before that. 2 million, 6 million, 3 million, 7 million. These are how many times it was traded on the exchange. 10 million before earnings, 43 after earnings, which is earnings of the huge events. But then 19, 15, 21, 21, that's after she disclosed her position. And another one that we had also was Broadcom, which is AVGO. So she purchased this one June 24th, and it disclosed it. And again, this is a huge purchase, 1 million to 5 million potentially here. She disclosed it on July 2nd of this year. So you're looking at about a little over a week out after that. Take a look at July 2nd. I mean, look at that. You had the day after that, you had a 4.33% increase. Now, obviously, it came out down a little bit more afterwards, but I believe, and I could be wrong here, because again, I don't work for the Congress, the point of picking 45 days was to try to limit the manipulation of the stock itself. Because if she disclosed it the day that she did that, my guess is these stocks would be going through the roof and going up 10%, 15%, possibly, whatever the case is. So they give that little bit of that window to make sure the stock does whatever it wants to do. And then when she discloses it, hopefully it doesn't do as much of an impact to it. Now, the other side of it is, Fridge, it's not even fair. And I don't think it's fair at all, because if she has some knowledge and she buys, some company on, say, we're looking at today's the 20th. Say, for example, she bought stock today, which she can. It's Saturday, but say she had some information came out today on the 20th. She bought stock on the 20th. She waited 45 days until we're into August, and then she disclosed it. The stock already probably made its run up. A little bit of a delay. Not really a big fan of it, but, that's the current laws they have. Insider trading laws apply to lawmakers, but the push to require more transparency about their investments came after the 2009 financial crisis. Several lawmakers made large profits after trading financial service stocks before major banks began to fold, which was the recession, which was the Great Recession that we had in 2008 with the housing market and everything else. Those trades raised questions about whether they're profiting from information they learned on congressional committees. Raised questions is not enough. It should have been flagged, but again, it took 3 years from that to that, whatever. So this talks more about some quotes and everything else. The new bill, if passed, would direct lawmakers to stop buying any new individual stocks immediately, and at the beginning of the next session of Congress in 2027, lawmakers will be required to divest from any individual assets. Basically, get rid of it all. If you're in Congress, get rid of it. So that's kind of what that kind of goes about from there. There's more quotes about it. It's a very tough bill and everything else. Here's look at that, Nancy Pelosi, yep. So this is the one that I want to lead into also, which I'm going to lead to in just a minute here with some of the articles. Several House and Senate bipartisan efforts have been introduced in recent years, but none have made it far enough to be considered for committees, considered by committees. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who doesn't trade stocks, wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of thing, but whose husband is an active trader, you're talking every single day to each other, initially opposed new reforms, but opened the door to passing legislation on the 2022 midterms. And maybe she opened the door because she was already on her way out. I mean, because this says she's 83. Yeah, she's 83. So, I don't know. Several amendments to change the law have been pushed unsuccessfully in the Senate, but no panel has moved legislation to address concerns since Stock Act passed. And there's a fine of $200 for failing to report. If you're trading thousands and thousands and making thousands, $200 is like nothing. It's like $5. Oh no, $5 penalty. I made 15 grand. Oh no. The Senate proposal would expand penalties, which is good. Under the law, under the plan, a failure to divest would result in fines of either the value of the lawmaker's monthly salary or 10% of the values that are in violation, whichever is greater. Thank you for saying whichever is greater, not whichever one is less. The fines make a huge difference, so hopefully get people to understand that, how that would work. And it talks more about the data behind it. I want to bring in this point also. So let me get rid of these. Grant Cardone, I'll just pop them also. This is from March though. Calls out Nancy Pelosi. If you make $179,000 a year, which is her disclosed salary, you will never be a millionaire, and so they're not worth $120 million. And now her net worth is a lot more than that. But again, net worths are estimates, so this could be absolutely wrong, of course. So take it with a grain of salt. Maybe it's not 120, maybe it's 150. Who knows, right? But very valid points here. Grant Cardone, who is a huge guy in real estate, a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, was talking about Nancy Pelosi here. Cardone singled out Pelosi, claiming she's never made more than $179,000 in a year, yet her net worth is over $120 million. If you do the math, most people just don't do it, she would have had to be in the Senate for 3,367 years to make that kind of money at her salary. Interesting enough. I mean, that's including, if you do the math out, it's way above it, but you got taxes, factor in taxes and everything else like that because you're in the upper tax bracket. But the math doesn't make any sense. How is it that someone has a salary of $179,000 a year on paper, but has made her net worth over $120 million? Because of trading stocks. And look at some of these things here, which is crazy. 2020, pandemic times. An estimated net worth was $176 million. From 2020 to 2021, she is up almost $70 million in 1 year. But her salary is $179,000 or $200,000. Even if it was $300,000, even if it was $1 million, she's up $70 million as a net worth in 1 year. What was 2020? COVID. Maybe they knew some things about it, obviously. Maybe they didn't. But it's very, very interesting to look at the numbers and say, wow, you have this much of a salary, but yet your net worth is like 100 times that. Make it make sense. So Grant Cardone called out about that. That was really, really funny, but very, very true. I think it's very, very accurate. If you were making $179,000 a year, you will never be a millionaire. That's not true, Grant, but much less maybe be worth $120 million. Yeah. Tyson chimed in suggesting that being in government might be a cheat code when it comes to accumulating wealth. Cardone agreed, implying that some politicians may be benefiting from undisclosed financial opportunities. Again, it's that idea behind insider knowledge, insider information, investments, and everything else. Cardone's comments, while unsubstantiated about specific financial activities, point to a larger question. How do some politicians amass such wealth while serving the public office? This is a question that resonates with many Americans. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Let's talk about the Stock Act. A high-ranking aide from the Republican side stated that the amendments referred to as the Pelosi provision, which I thought was absolutely hysterical, were designated to enhance the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act, and everything else. crazy. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted these shortcomings as numerous members of Congress were investigated for insider trading after making stock transactions totaling over $150 million, often in companies likely to be impacted by the pandemic. So again, if they knew the pandemic was going to come over and knew that we're going to have shutdowns and restrictions and everything else, before we knew that, because they relayed it to us, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting again. Indeed. So talking about now, again, looking at it a little bit more with Nancy Pelosi here. So here's Nancy Pelosi right here. So we talk about how her net worth is like absolutely ridiculous. Her estimated net worth has increased significantly since 2008, thanks in large part to the success of her husband, Paul Pelosi, who is a venture capitalist and property investor. It's not possible to know the precise net worth of members of Congress, as they only require to provide a range of values. But it just making known since she became the speaker in 2007, but she has been reported to be one of the wealthier members of Congress. Unbelievable. This one says in 2021, she was worth as much as $171 million. Again, these are all just, estimates and everything else. Her net worth has risen $140 million since 2008, according to one estimate. It's absolutely crazy. So Paul Pelosi's company, Financial Leasing Services, has been highly successful in its investments in recent years, and those investments have included shares in major firms such as Disney, Amazon, and Google. Shocker. More of like, Nancy and Paul are talking, having a late night dinner, whatever the case is. Oh, Paul, you're not going to believe what I heard today. Something about, Disney, Amazon, Google, whatever. And Paul's like, you know what? I can make some investments on that because there's no restrictions to the members and their families. Just you had to disclose within 45 days. Oh no, what a problem to have. The Pelosi's may have made between $5.6 million and $30 million between 2017 and 2020 through capital gains dividends from Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, based on public disclosures, which again, obviously is a whole different thing. Absolutely crazy. And just to summarize this here, because we're at a longer video here, there's an app called Autopilot. It's AI stock trading, essentially, where it does it for you, which I don't know how I feel about it. But they have a Pelosi tracker, and Michael Burry as well. But they have Pelosi, Warren Buffett, Michael Burry. They have a Pelosi tracker. So basically, what you can do with this app, apparently, is you can link up to your account, and it'll follow Pelosi's trades when they're disclosed. Not right away, because they don't know that. But once she discloses them to the public, your portfolio acts on it and does the same thing. So if she bought 100 shares of this stock here, your portfolio would do the same thing once it gets disclosed to the SEC and filed. I just love that it says here, built by the team behind the viral Pelosi tracker account. If you can't beat them, join them. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys learned something new. Again, if you're in the US, maybe you already knew about this. If you're not in the US, maybe you didn't know anything about it. But yeah, we're looking at potentially cracking down on Congress members being able to trade stocks on the inside, which I think is a great move in the right direction for us as a country to make it more fair, to make it more legit, to make everything more transparent for you guys. Please make sure if you made this fun of the video to subscribe to the channel already if you haven't done so. And please leave any comments you have down below, your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas. Leave anything down in the comment section below. I make sure to read all of them to make sure to respond to them all. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, feel free to do so. Always making money in the market, not through insider trading like the Congress members are. And I will see you guys in the next video.